Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Diversion Authority Finance Committee meeting for April 26th, 2023. Welcome to everyone. Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Here.
Mayor Mahoney.
Here.
Mr. Peterson.
I am here.
Mr. Steen.
Here.
Ms. Gayhart. Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Redlinger.
Here.
Mr. Grenberg. Mr. Pepcorn.
Here.
Mayor Carlson. Mr. Reeds. Ms. Madriga.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Don. Item number 2 is to approve the minutes of the March 22nd meeting. They are in the packet. They have been distributed, and it's on page 3.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. Is there a second, please?
Peterson, second.
Commissioner Peterson, second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes as distributed for March 22nd. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Item number 3 is to approve the order of the agenda. Again, it is before you and it's in the packet.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. Is there a second, please?
Steen, second.
Thank you, Mr. Steen, seconds. It's been moved and seconded to approve the order of the agenda. Is there any discussion or amendments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 4 is the approval of the bills. It's on page 5 of the packet. It has been distributed, and we'll call on Wyatt Poppenfuss for a report. Good evening, good afternoon, and welcome.
Good afternoon. The total payments for April 2023 were $6,871,312.89. The largest payment this month was for an annual liability renewal totaling $5.4 million. Other than that, it was payments to the usual vendors, including Onstead, Twitchell, Clay County, City of Fargo, and Cass County Joint Water.
Thank you, Mr. Poppenfuss. Is there any discussion, questions?
A quick
Mr.
question. The payment for the liability coverage, is that a one-year premium or is that a multi-year premium? Do you know?
I believe that was a one-year premium.
And this is a question you won't have an answer to. Do you know how that compares to last year at all?
Sorry, what?
You don't know how the number compares to last year, the amount?
I am not aware
I
of
don't
what
think
the
so.
amount was.
We'll call it Mr. John Shockley at the microphone.
Thank you. Actually, that was it's a one-time premium for the insurance policy. So that there's like, what is it, 1.8 million? 1.8 million is for over the course of the construction and then 10 years after it. So it's not an annual premium.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Are there any additional questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. Thank you, Commissioner Steen. Well, former Commissioner Steen, whatever. He's still going to get
I
that
know.
right.
It happens.
So we have a motion and a second with regard to approval of the bills. Any other questions? Don, would you please call a roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
And that's everyone.
Thank you, Don. Item number 5 is a finance report. Again, we call on Wyatt Poppenfuss with regard to the finance report, and it's on page 29 of your packet. Please, Wayne.
Total assets for the month of March were $166,223,715. The liabilities as of March 31st were $360,056, leaving a total net position of $165,863.
Very good, thank you. Questions with regarding to the finance report?
I just had a question on the Horace money. I know we give them $5 million. Are they earning interest on that money, Joel, as it sits there? Because if it sits there, they just get interest payment. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mayor. Yeah. All of our cash reserves are invested by the City of Fargo in investment funds on our behalf as the fiscal agent. So,
great question. Any additional questions with regard to the finance report? Entertain a motion to approve, please.
I will move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Ettinger. Is there a second, please?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Brandy. It's been moved and seconded to approve the finance report as presented. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 6 is the Executive Director's Financial Report. We call on Mr. Joel Paulson. It's on page 63 of the packet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the Finance Committee. The first page here shows our first allocation of 2023 sales tax revenue. You can see those numbers are about as expected. So this would basically go back to January numbers. And just for your awareness, the revenue numbers do change over time. I think Mayor Mahoney knows this, is certain times of the year we get larger revenue allocations from the sales tax than others. So the January numbers are as anticipated. And really that's our only realized revenue to report out this month. As far as our overall budget tracking, you can see we're still tracking overall program with the $2.8 billion mark. We have expended $923 million to date. As far as our cash budget is concerned, we've spent just under $40 million so far this year. And I'll go a little bit more in depth in certain areas on the next slide. So for Channel P3, we've had close to $2 million in expenditures. Those are mainly related to management, legal, and financial costs for consultants working on the channel in the P3. The other project under other mitigation was our work package 2. That was the demo project for about $500,000. And then we have the in-town Fargo project that was reported out the last few months. So no changes in that category. And then we can see under lands and impacted property mitigation, obviously our largest expenditure for the month, and will probably continue to be for the remainder of this year as Jody and her team are really actively acquiring flowage easements and property necessary for SE2 A and B and SE3, and on the Minnesota side for SE4. Next page, please. Under engineering and design, our costs are to be expected, nothing out of the ordinary there. Under program management and legal, again, our anticipated budget is on track as well. And then you can see we did realize that $500,000 in contingency payment to the Red River Valley Alliance in relation to some delays with BNSF. So again, total expenditures year to date in relation to our almost $229 million cash budget is just under $40 million. Next page shows our Diversion Authority operations budget. And again, that is still on track as well. No concerns related to those. So certainly open for any questions if you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Paulson? All right, thank you. Item number 7, that's an informational topic. So item number 7 is the 2023 cash budget change request. Again, we call on Mr. Paulson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a request for a cash budget increase of $60,000. This is really just our ability to be able to pay 2021 and 2022 operation and maintenance costs to the city of Fargo. So those we were expecting those in prior cash year budgets. They came forward here in 2023. And so we need to increase our cash budget by $60,000 for a total of $160,000 to reimburse the city of Fargo.
So the program budget has $100,000 in it each year. And because of the 2-year billing that we're receiving, we're asking for a $60,000 additional.
That's correct, Mr.
For the
Chair.
program budget.
Yes.
So everybody understands. What's your pleasure, Commissioners?
I'll move to approve.
Mr. Steen moves to approve the $60,000 change in the program budget for 2023. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Pipcorn seconds. Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes?
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Item number 8 is Diversion Authority Board approval contracting actions. And it says Mr. Paulson or Mr. Shockley. Mr. Paulson, all right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one action for consideration today. It is a master service agreement renewal for AECOM. AECOM does perform our cultural resources necessary for clearance for construction and mitigation. And this is just re-upping their contract. It's a zero budget cost at this point. We'll bring forward task orders in the future. But this just gets our master service agreement in place so we can continue to work with AECOM on the cultural resources.
Any questions for Mr. Paulson?
Mr. Chair, can I ask a quick question? So
Please.
Joel, is that going to be going on through the whole project that they keep on staff or whatever can you tell a little bit how that works?
Yeah, absolutely, Commissioner Pepcorn. So they are actively working right now on, suspended for the winter, but they'll be starting back up. As we dig the channel, if we uncover artifacts or anything of that nature, AECOM would be called in to do the proper documentation and report that to the state and the Corps of Engineers. So basically, they'll be available here locally as we move through construction for those sorts of things that come up. They are also working on documenting structures that we're removing in the upstream mitigation area. So certain structures that are over, I believe, 30 years old are considered eligible for the National Historic Register. So they have to take a look at those structures and provide the clearance to the state and the Corps of Engineers for any work prior to removal of structures or moving structures. So, yep.
Additional questions? Again, this is an actionable item. Need a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Peterson. Moved and second for the AECOM new MSA, which has a budget estimate of $0. Task orders to come forward during the year. Is there any further discussion? Don, would you please call a roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Item number 9 is MOUs and agreements. Mr. Shockley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two MOUs for the board's consideration and recommendation today. The first is with Buffalo Red River Watershed District regarding the Lower Otter Tail Restoration Project. In accordance with Minnesota DNR permit condition number 27, the Diversion Authority was required to provide funding for the Lower Otter Tail restoration project. That is, for those of you who are familiar with the Lower Otter Tail River, that's just downstream of the Orwell Dam. There will be some projects to to add meanders into the river to make it back into original habitat that is more consistent with how it was naturally in place. That was a requirement for the DNR permit. And in Exhibit C, you'll see how the calculation was come up for the amount that we're required to pay for that project. This MOU sets in place that payment and satisfies that permit condition. We have been in close contact with Minnesota DNR to make sure that the the agreement that we have with Buffalo Red River Watershed District satisfied the permit conditions. So happy to answer any questions, but this is one of those that it's required by the permit condition. The project costs a lot more than the amount that we're contributing towards it, but our obligation was to make the contribution.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley. Any questions? Please, Commissioner Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think you just answered the question, but I want to double down on it. Is there any way this cost could accelerate?
This is the cost that was estimated. This is the amount that we have to pay. The project is, I think, about $60 million in total. This was our required obligation for the project.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any additional questions? All right. Please continue.
I can proceed to the second MOU. That is the final township MOU. And I have to say kudos to Chris, who has been working very diligently with Raymond Township to try to get this wrapped up. This is the final MOU with the township. We have MOUs now with all the townships along the diversion channel. That covers the closure, how we work with the townships regarding graveling roads, closure of roads, undertaking the project. Consistent with the other agreements, it provides for a loss of tax revenue for a period of 10 years, and then also provides for some funding for their fire fund, and this will be the last of the MOUs. So happy to answer any questions, but consistent with the prior MOUs.
Questions for Mr. Shockley? All right, thank you. To the Finance Board, we can take them one at a time or take them both together, whatever's your pleasure. It is an actionable item.
Would move to approve A and B together.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. Is there a second, please? Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second.
I have a second. It's been moved and seconded to approve items A and B under the MOUs and agreements as presented by Mr. Shockley. Is there any further discussion?
So one
Please,
question.
Mr. Steve.
One question for John. So this is the last of the MOUs for the townships affected by this. No more surprises, no more other deals. We've settled them all. We're good.
On the diversion channel,
Yes.
there will be some road raises and some other issues in this staging area. But for the diversion channel, this is the last MOU with the townships.
Okay. Thank you.
Any additional questions? Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mayor Carlson. Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
That is everyone. Mayor Carlson has joined us. She must not be able to talk.
Thank you, Don. Item number 10 is other business. A is WP 38A, recommendation to accept a bid and award it. We'll call on Mr. Chris Bakkegaard for that one.
Thanks, Mayor Dardis. Committee members, we did have a bid open for the next demolition project for the mitigation in the upstream area. We did receive 3 bids. They were good competitive bids. We are recommending award to the lowest bidder of Industrial Builders of $472,952. You can see the list of structures there that are included with the project as well.
Any questions of Mr. Bakkegaard with regard to this? All right.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. This is an actionable item. We have a motion. Do we have a second, please?
Second.
Mr. Peterson seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the recommendation to accept the bid for demolition projects to award Industrial Builders. Is there any further discussion? Don, would you please call a roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Steen.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn?
Aye.
Mayor Carlson? Ms. Madriga?
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Item B is Eide Bailey's 2022 financial audit notification letter. Mr. Paulson.
Thank you, Chairman Dardis. We put this in your packet. This is the engagement letter from Eide Bailey for our 2022 financial statement audit. So they'll begin that, and I anticipate at a future Finance Committee meeting, once we have the audit complete, we'll have them attend and show their results.
Very good. Any questions, Mr. Paulson? This is only an informational item. Is there any member of the Finance Committee has anything that they'd like to bring forward this afternoon? Non-agenda item? No? All right. Our next meeting is going to be May 24th, and I'm assuming it'll be back in this facility here. With that, we stand adjourned. Thank you.